I suppose your dad's philosophy on life, his empathy, his positivity were probably instinctive in his DNA. Um, Perhaps, or do you think he developed it over time? Do you know? Do you think he was just someone who was naturally gifted in this
Hmm.
way, or do you
Hmm.
think that
I
grew?
mean, I can answer that question for you, and this also might be quite emotional for me. This is also a well-known point of my dad's story, and I think that Mitch touches on it in his book quite a bit.
Mm,
So the what happened from with my father is, first of all, he grew up very poor in New York City, and when he would have been about 7 or 8. Um, I guess he would have been 7. His mother, his biological mother, I think it was TB, but anyway, she got very, very ill and she passed away. So he lost his mother when he was very, very young. And this always made him incredibly sensitive to people suffering and,
mm,
the need for human connection. So there's no doubt the loss of his mother at such a young age influenced him into exactly the direction that you're talking about, being concerned about people, being attuned to people's suffering, and being, really emotionally connected to people. Now, I don't think it's necessary that another person would have had that experience, but that's how it affected him. And I think
mm,
there's no doubt that the loss of his mother um, is had that effect. And this
mm,
is the one part, because you asked earlier about, how accurate is the play and the book. So I wonder if you remember, there's one point in the book and the play which is the most accurate thing that Mitch wrote, and he refers to my father having to read the telegram from the hospital that his mother had died, and my grandfather couldn't really speak English. So he had to translate it from English into Yiddish as a 6 or 7 year old boy. So this is a big incident and story and, important memory in our family history.
wow. Yeah. It was. I mean, I only remember it as um, a very emotional part of the play, but knowing that how real it was and how much it affected him and your family,
Yeah,
um, gosh, yeah, that's, thank you for sharing that.
sure, sure.
I do remember that point in the novel and also in the play when Maury expresses how comfortable he is with his emotions,
Mm,
and that there's no shame in feeling that.
mm, mm,
What would you say to someone who kind of, I mean, in Asian culture, we tend to be a lot more conservative
mm.
with our feelings. What would you say to someone who is like, oh, I don't want to show how I feel. I will keep it inside.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a complex and deep question. I wouldn't say to somebody, who feels more comfortable not showing their emotions, I wouldn't say to them, oh, you need to be expressive of your emotions. You need to show your emotions. You need to wear your heart on your sleeve. No, absolutely not. I mean, of course, everybody needs to do what they're most comfortable with. What I would say is the only, nuance that I would add to that. And I think that, every culture expresses themselves in a different way. So this is not to tell somebody else how to express themselves, but obviously it's important slash crucial that the people you're close to know how you feel about them. So if you're able to communicate that without any big displays of emotion, maybe i.e. Chinese culture, then okay, that's the way you express yourself. It might be slightly alien to my father, but that's not the point. The point is how does your culture express itself? And like I said, the thing that I would express is that, or would urge people, is that you let people who are close to you know how you feel about them in any way that you feel that that is appropriate.
Mm. And I think the play did that. I mean, I had friends who immediately wanted to go home and call their folks,
Mm,
or their sister that they hadn't talked to for very long. And so
Mhm.
it was very successful in reminding people that the family friendships are so important in this day and age.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that, and I certainly think that that is, you know, some one of the effects that the play and the book have on people, and I'm sure my father would be overjoyed to hear that. To tell you the truth, yeah.